Hey guys, welcome. I'm Tatum and this is the first video of my tissue culture series. I've had so many people reach out to me and ask me so many questions about what is tissue culture, how is it done, can it be done at home, what is your technique, so many questions. So I figured it would be easier to just make a whole series and put it on YouTube so I can refer everybody to the same place, because it is a very long, tedious process and kind of hard to explain everything in depth through a Facebook message. So today we're just going to be covering the bases of tissue culture. So, like what it is, how it's done. I will discuss all of my sources towards the end of this video, and I will link everything down in the description as well, so you guys can go ahead and check out all of those for those of you who are ready to just go ahead and get started. So with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and just get right into the video. So the first question that I always get asked is, what is tissue culture? Tissue culture is pretty much just a form of micropropagation. So with typical propagation, you would take a part of the plant, usually the node, and put that into some type of rooting medium, whether that be soil, moss, perlite, water, whatever you choose. You would grow roots on your node, and then that node would produce one new shoot. With tissue culture, it's the same concept, however, you get many shoots. So what you do is you take your node, or it can actually be done with any part of the plant, so it kind of depends on what plant you're using, but typically the node, you would sterilize it, put it into media that contains all of the vitamins and everything that it needs to survive, and then you would also add in plant growth regulators that are going to force it to produce mini shoots. So instead of getting one new plant, you could potentially have 40. And then after that, you would subdivide those plants, cut them up, break them up, put them back into tissue culture, and just keep doing that same process over and over and over again until you get however many plants you desire. That can be 100 plants, that can be thousands of plants, it's up to you. And then once you've done that, you would then put it into a rooting media that will help it grow roots, and then begin the acclimation process, where you would put it into soil or whatever and start acclimating it to a normal climate. I will have many videos in the future where I go through step by step exactly how it's done. I'm not going to be doing a demo today because it's such a long process, and I really want to just break this up into several different videos just to simplify everything. Another question that I get asked all the time is, can it be done from home? Yes, absolutely. As you can see behind me, this is my lab. This is where I work. This is where I store my containers where I made the media. And then I also have my plants that are acclimating. This over here is where I store all of my tools and everything that I need to use. And then that's my little work desk. You'll hear over and over and over again that you have to have a laminar flow hood and that you have to have an autoclave. You don't. Those certainly make the process a lot easier, but it is not necessary. I work out of a plastic tote from Walmart that was $5, and I use my microwave instead of an autoclave. And there's just some extra steps that need to be done. It is a little bit more difficult, it is a little more tedious, but it can absolutely be done. And I certainly recommend going that route whenever you're first starting out, because you're going to save yourself a lot of money, especially if you end up deciding that, tissue culture isn't really for you. So definitely recommend not going crazy when you first start out. Just start with something simple, go from there. I will link my Amazon list that has the majority of the things that I have in my lab have been purchased from Amazon, so you guys can kind of browse through there and see what all I have. I will do a lab tour where I go through exactly everything that I have, and I will list all of the links to everything that I have over there. But for now, I'm just going to list my Amazon list, and you guys can kind of go through and pick that out. Another question that I get asked all the time is, do you have to have a degree? Do you have to have any type of background related to tissue culture? And the answer is no. I don't have a college education. I am in school right now, but I don't have any type of college education that is related to plants or tissue culture or science, chemistry, anything like that. I have no background in it. So yes, if I can do it, you can do it. I promise you, it's not as scary and complicated as it seems. It's pretty simple once you understand how it works. It does take a lot of practice, but once you have the bases covered, then it's pretty easy to just keep going from there. Another question that I am asked over and over and over again is, how did you get started? Do you have any resources? How did you learn? What brought you here? I don't really remember what got me looking into tissue culture to begin with, but I know I stumbled upon Kaylee Ellen's tissue culture video. I will link her video down below because it's really informative and she did a really good job on that. So that's kind of what got me interested into it, and then I started reading more about it on my own, and I've found a lot of other sources. So my top 3 sources for tissue culture education, the most helpful that I can think of is definitely the online class that I took from Seedless Labs. I will have a link in the description below for that as well. But it was, I think, a 4-hour class, and it was a live demo on Zoom, and he did a really good job covering everything regarding tissue culture and his process. And the most helpful part was the Q&A, where he opens it up, any questions that you might have regarding the process, and he was very knowledgeable on the subject, and I think he's really great. So for those of you, if you are really seriously interested in learning tissue culture, I highly recommend taking his class. I will probably end up retaking it later on down the road when I have a little more experience, so I have a lot more questions to ask him, but he was excellent, and so I definitely recommend taking his class. Another helpful source is Plant Cell Technology here on YouTube. That's what really got me started. I found his videos. He has a lot of content covering sterilization and protocols for different types of plants, and that's been extremely helpful to me. I incorporated a lot of his techniques when I was creating my own personal technique, but very helpful. So I definitely recommend checking out his channel. There is also another channel here on YouTube. I've watched a couple of his videos, but I'm not as familiar with his channel, but I will link his down below too. Another really helpful source is a group on Facebook. I'm very active in there. I believe it's called Home Tissue Culture Group 2020. I want to say. Again, it'll be linked down below so you guys can check it out if you want to, but I really recommend that group too for those of you who are interested in getting started or just learning more about tissue culture. The last question that I get asked all the time is, who is your supplier? Who do you get your plants from? I can't cover that in this video. I need to speak with my supplier first and make sure that she's okay with that, and I haven't had the chance to do that yet. However, I may do that in a future video, so you'll have to stay tuned if you want the details on my supplier. I don't mind sharing with you guys, but I just need to cover that with her first. I think that's really all that I have to cover for this video. I know it was not very specific, but that's why I'm gonna make more videos in the future so I can really cover each topic. We will cover everything, and that includes how to locate a supplier, how to obtain permits, because the majority of the time you're gonna be importing them from out of the country. I'm from the US, and every country has different laws regarding that, so I will help you guys learn how to get your permit and all that, and then also the acclimating process for those of you who do like to buy the tissue culture, the little baggies of the plantlets in vitro. I will help you guys learn how to acclimate those safer. I know so many people buy them and they lose them, they die because they didn't acclimate correctly. So we're gonna cover that in a whole separate video, and we're gonna cover all the bases. We're gonna cover everything really in depth. I want you guys to learn from start to finish and everything in between, because I am very passionate about the topic and I love learning about it, and you guys are going to be learning with me. I'm still kind of new. I'm pretty new actually to tissue culture, so you're gonna watch me learn and make mistakes, and you know, I'll get to kind of document that throughout the process and share that with you guys. So I'm really excited for this. I think it's gonna be a really fun project, and I am looking forward to making more videos in the future. I'm gonna try to get up at least one video a week, maybe 2 if I can, so that's the goal for now. But that is all I have for you guys today, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you guys can see more videos in the future whenever I have those done and ready for you guys. So yeah, I am excited to learn and grow with you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!